Good morning, everybody. I just got my hands on the new Anker EverFrost 2 battery-powered cooler, and this video is going to be a first look and initial impression. I'm going to try to give you a good hands-on look at it so you can get a better understanding of what you're getting. Keep in mind that this cooler is brand new, so as you're watching this, I've only had the opportunity so far to test it out for one 24-hour, one-night camping trip. Shortly, I will release a follow-up video comparing this EverFrost version 2 with the EverFrost version 1, and then towards the end of the summer, I will have a follow-up video after having actually used this for a full summer of camping. But anyways, here is everything you need to know about this cooler. This is the 40-liter model. They currently sell a 58-liter, the 40-liter, and I believe a 23-liter will be released soon. I opted for the 40-liter because I had the 53 for the first version, and as much as I loved it, it was enormous. And there's no way that I wanted something even bigger now that the version 2 is a 58-liter. The net weight of this 40-liter cooler is already 50 pounds. The 58-liter is 63 pounds. And then for the dimensions, the 40-liter version is 29.5 inches long, 18 inches wide, and 19.4 inches tall. The 58-liter model is the same width and height, but is 38.3 inches long, 9 inches longer. The interior dimensions of the 40-liter are 14.6 inches long, 12.3 inches wide, and 13.65 inches tall. When I unboxed it, on top of the cooler was the AC charging cable, the DC charging cable, as well as these wheel chocks and the user manual. It's important to know that it includes only one battery. This new cooler does support 2 batteries, but if you want a second one, you're going to have to buy it separately. Currently, it sells for $200. Inside the second battery slot is this accessory container. So if you're only using one battery, it's nice to have this slot for storage. I definitely plan on purchasing a second battery at some point, but I was going to wait a little bit just to see if it goes on sale. The battery life of this cooler with one battery is rated for 52 hours, and then it doubles to 104 hours if you have 2 batteries. That's another reason I wanted the 40-liter cooler, because once you go up to the 58, the battery life shrinks a little bit to 39 hours with one battery and then 78 hours with 2 batteries. In case you missed it, the fine print for this battery testing states that this was tested with the internal temperature of the cooler set to 39 degrees in eco mode with an empty cooler and 2 fully charged batteries with an ambient temperature of 77 degrees. Regardless if that's true, 4 days of battery life would be pretty amazing. I'm trying to imagine going on a long 3 or 4 day weekend road trip and not needing to have a power station or any kind of external power source to keep a cooler charged. That's what I'm most excited about for this cooler, so I'm really hoping the battery life is as good as advertised. Let's take a closer look at the cooler. On the top view, this of course is the cooler door. It's got a metric and standard ruler on each side on top. The door is a soft closed door, which I really like. And then over on the side is the screen and controls where you can power the cooler on and off, change the temperature, and adjust settings. There's an app that we'll talk about in a little bit. From the front view, it's got this mount here for some of the accessories they sell. It's got a bottle opener. This is for ventilation, and then of course the wheels to roll the cooler. Nothing really different here on the back. This side has the retractable handle for when you're rolling the cooler. I suppose this could also double as a cutting board. And then this side is the slot for the batteries as well as the power inlet. There's a slot for the AC/DC port as well as solar input. Unlike the first version, the battery cover can be enclosed, and because of this, this cooler has a waterproof rating of IPX3, which means it can handle very light rain or splashes. I'm certainly still not planning on having it get wet, but this is a nice addition. When you open this up, you can see the batteries in here. The battery itself can double as a power station, so while it's in the cooler, or even if you want to take it out, you can use the cooler's battery to charge your devices with the USB-A and C plugs. I want to just talk about some of the things that Anker advertises about this cooler. There are 4 ways to recharge your batteries: AC or a wall outlet, DC or a car charger, USB-C or solar. So first, if you plug the AC or DC into the cooler with the batteries inside, this will charge the batteries. Also, if you don't have the batteries in and you plug the AC or DC in, this will still power the cooler. The same goes for solar. If your batteries are in the cooler and you plug in the solar, it will charge the batteries as long as you have solar power through your panels. And then you can also charge the batteries by plugging them into USB-C. Anker says it will take 3.5 hours to charge the batteries via AC, DC, or solar, and 5.5 hours via USB-C. Number 2 thing that they advertise, as I mentioned before, they claim that the 2 batteries in the 40-liter cooler are rated to power the cooler for up to 4.3 days with the conditions per the testing that I mentioned earlier. Number 3, the temperature of the cooler can be set anywhere from -4 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 4, they advertise what they call fast flow technology. So they say that this cooler can cool from 77 degrees to 32 degrees in 15 minutes, which is extremely fast. Even in the first version of this cooler, it cooled really quickly. I think it was like a half hour. Anytime we were going to head off for a camping trip, I never felt the need to pre-chill the cooler because it always cooled fast enough. So if this one can cool in 15 minutes, then I think the same would apply. Number 5, I don't know how it works and I haven't tested out yet, but they claim that the cooler specializes in even cooling. So one area of the cooler to another should be within 2 degrees of each other at all times. They claim other coolers might have a 10-degree temperature variance, but basically any area within the cooler should be within about 2 degrees of each other. Number 6, there are 3 different cooling modes: Max, Smart, and Eco mode. Max mode is the one that will allow the cooler to chill within 15 minutes and it will use more battery life. Smart mode is said to auto-balance between cooling and efficiency by detecting the internal and external temperatures. Probably the mode I'll end up using. Eco mode will maximize cooling time, but will also use the least amount of battery. And the last thing I want to mention, they seem to love their 6-inch wheels that are designed to handle more terrain when you're rolling the cooler. One of the accessories they sell is beach wheels to, I guess, help the cooler move more evenly in the sand. I'll be sticking with the included wheels. And next, I just want to talk a little bit about the app. All right, real quick with the app, I just downloaded the Anker app, so I got to turn on the cooler. All right, cooler is on, or turning on. And let's go to add device. And there it is, it found the cooler. Bring your phone close to the device. And let's try, I guess, Bluetooth. There we go. So I'm connected to the cooler. So it tells me the internal temperature. It tells me the battery capacity. That's something that I like. That's something that I could find the app useful for. Usually I don't like apps for power stations or coolers, but I do think being able to access the battery percentage remaining would be super useful. So if I've got the cooler in the truck bed, I don't have to go back there to look just to see what the battery temperature's at. But then anyways, in here it looks like you can change the cooling mode. You can, of course, set the temperature. I think 38 degrees sounds pretty good. And then I tried tapping on the battery percentage, but there's nothing to open. And then it shows battery output and battery input. So I assume if the battery was charging, it would show something for battery input. Tells me how many watts are being used right now as I just turned it on, so it's cooling. And then let's see, in settings, we've got screen brightness for the cooler screen. Oh, you can make it so the screen stays on always, except that doesn't seem... Oh, there it goes. Voltage protection. You can change the voltage protection mode. You can change the name of the device for Bluetooth. You can change from Celsius to Fahrenheit. I'm not sure what it does if you turn on Wi-Fi. And then I've got a firmware update. So I will do that now. Oh, please connect DC adapter to solar panel. So we'll do that later. But anyways, that's a quick run through of the app. Pretty straightforward and simple. Like I said, I think the only thing I would really find useful for the most part is the battery percentage. Most likely I'm just going to be setting the temperature to what I want when I turn on the cooler, and I don't really see that I would need to change it. So that's the app for you. I actually just want to mention one more thing about the app. I don't think that there's a way to turn the cooler on or off, which that would be a nice thing to have in the app. After I signed off there, I was looking at the app and I don't see a way to turn the cooler off. So either I missed it or that doesn't exist yet. Like I said earlier, I've only had the opportunity to test it out for a quick one-night camping trip so far, but it was great. The high temperatures were in the mid 60s and then the lows overnight were in the mid 40s, so obviously this was not tested out in the summer heat. One thing that stood out to me compared to version 1 of this cooler is that it is taller. I've got the deck drawers in my truck, so on the version 1 I was able to open the lid enough that with the deck drawers and my canopy that I could still access the cooler. But with this one being a little bit taller, I can no longer do that. I now have to take the cooler out in order to use it. Also, it's good to just keep in mind that it weighs 50 pounds when empty, so when you do have it full of food, it is going to be a little bit harder to lift. Performance-wise, it worked great for this one trip. Obviously, it wasn't a big test yet. Plenty of battery life remaining, but I'm looking forward to using it more throughout the summer. I turned it on at 3 p.m. and the battery was at 100%, and when we got home the next morning, the battery was at 83% at 8:30 in the morning. This, of course, is just kind of an overview as I have not had the chance to put this cooler to the test yet. I can really only speak on my experience with the first version of the EverFrost cooler, which I love. What I'm looking forward to the most with this cooler is the smaller size and the increased battery life, especially with the opportunity for it to take 2 batteries. I never had any performance issues with the first version of the cooler, so if this one can perform at least as well as the other one, I am certain I'll be happy with it. At the time that I'm recording this, the cooler retails for $900 but is on sale for $700, but then just keep in mind if you want the second battery, it's going to be another $200. And like I said in the beginning, check back soon for a video comparing EverFrost 1 and EverFrost 2, and then towards the end of the summer, early fall, I will make a video after actually having used this cooler for a full season of camping. Please comment with any questions that you have about this cooler and I will be sure to address them in my follow-up video. I do have an affiliate link in the description below, so if this video did help you at all to make your decision, please consider using my link and I will earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. Also, if you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit that like button. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time.